Hello everybody, this is Arthur Hasher with Realty City. I'm going to get through these documents as fast as I can and work. This is mainly for the buyers out there that are looking for properties in Arizona and they want some information on what's going on with these new forms and what do I have to do, and am I going to have to compensate my buyer? Am I going to sign something and now have to pay commissions, and what's going on? Well, we're going to go through this really fast and hopefully get an understanding of it. The first form you should really fill out when you talk to anybody, when you talk to any agent, is what they call the READE form. And here we go with the acronyms again. It's Real Estate Agency Disclosure and Election, also called READE. And again, next line also, this is not an employment agreement. All this is a disclosure. You're going to work with, and I'm going to go right now, give you a little terminology. The broker is the brokerage, the name of the firm name. Coldwell Banker, Kelly Williams, Remax, whatever it is, all these different names out there that they have. I'm with Realty City. That would be up here. I'm going to interchange broker, because a lot of this stuff says broker, by a broker, with the licensee, but we're acting through our brokerage. As a licensee, we all work for our brokerage. So my name would go, if it was to be Realty City, and my name would go here, and then I would be working as the buyer's broker, because everything goes through the broker. So just so you understand that terminology, even though we say agents a lot and we say realtors a lot, it goes all through the firm's name and the broker's name. We clean that up a little bit, hopefully. Okay, so now this is the thing you're going to fill out on the READE form. You're going to want this as the buyer's broker. You're going to fill this out. Don't worry, the seller's end. The number 2 is for listing. Don't worry about that. You're not going to want to do limited representation. You can. I would do it unless it's between family members and you love each other so much you don't care. So, I don't know. Otherwise, I really wouldn't get involved in that and stay away from it, because you want to be represented. Now, if you come down to the second page here, you have agency election does not establish. Everything you're going to see on these forms has something to do with compensation. So compensation is negotiable, is fully negotiable between you and your buyer broker. Just remember that. There's nothing that says, well, I charge this, and this, and, well, if you don't want to pay this and this, thank you very much, and well, I'll have to find somebody else. Then you have the buyer, and you're going to be represented, the buyer as the buyer broker. Bingo right there. Bingo, that's going to check off. You acknowledge receipt of a disclosure. Remember, it's a disclosure. The undersignee is the buyer, and you're going to sign as there, right there, just saying that you got the information and your disclosure. That's the main form you're going to fill out. That's it. Now, a little misinformation when they started this whole thing. I'm going to get it straight right now. You walk into a open house. You can walk into an open house. You don't have to sign any forms. You don't have to be with a buyer broker. You have to be with anybody. You can just walk into an open house and say hi. The only thing you will have to fill out maybe is if you're in the open house and the listing agent wants you to fill out your name so he knows, so the seller knows who's been walking through the house. That's all. Name, email, telephone number, whatever, and that's all you would need. Again, and for instance, you walk in, you see 3 or 4, you find the house that you love and you want, and it's a good price, and you just want to buy it. You would be an unrepresented buyer. Let's say you know real estate and you've dealt with real estate before and you've done it for years. You don't need a buyer broker to work with you. You don't have to hire a buyer broker. You could do it yourself if you feel comfortable doing it yourself. And this is what the listing agent would give you to fill out. You would be unrepresented. You work with the seller broker, and you act, and you would represent yourself, and you would have to go through all these little things that you know that you would have to do, and then you would sign it down here. That would be the way to go if you understand the business, or if you've been in the business, you could do that. Now, the 2 forms that are here that we're going to talk about, which is buyer broker exclusive employment agreement, or the show me property buyer broker agreement. The show me property agreement, the buyer broker agreement to show property, I call this the test drive. This is the test drive. If you don't know agents in the area, you're coming from an every area, you saw a house online and you picked an agent, and that agent's going to meet you, and you're going to see a house or two or three. You have to do the ready form. You have to do that to show agency that they're working for you. And then you have to go, because it's right in here. It says right in here, the agency relationship between broker and broker determines how the broker will work on you, and you have to fill that out. So again, if you fill that out first, it's already done. That's right in here. Okay, so this one is easy. You're the buyer, the broker, again, the firm's name, your agent's name that's going to be acting through the broker has received that right there, and notice to buyer. All realtors are required to have a signed written agreement prior to showing a home to a buyer. All. It says here, all realtors. Now, there are some agents out there that are licensed agents that are not realtors. But again, all realtors. You can set the term. You can set the term for a day. You can set it for 2 days. You can set it for a weekend. You can set it for residential. You can put other. Agency relationship again. And again, going back to they always do this. Broker compensation is not set by law. It's negotiable. Always negotiable. Broker compensation goes in here. How you work, you negotiate with your broker for a couple of days, and then again, this agreement goes bye-bye. You don't find anything, you don't write it, you don't make a deal, you don't do anything. This agreement's done. It's gone. Doesn't hang on, doesn't last for a certain amount of time, eternity, whatever it is. It's just done. Now we go to the buyer broker exclusive employment agreement. We call it the BBEEA. BBEEA. Or the B. The BA. What do you want to call it? This acronym's going to drive me nuts. Anyway, so again, the same thing. This is a little bit different. This is if you find somebody that, I love. I want to work with them. I want them to find me a house. They know exactly what I'm looking for. They sat down. We talked for an hour. They know all my little things that I want. I want to work with them. You fill this out. Again, has a start date, has an end date. Residential, if you're doing residential, what's really nice about this is you can put in geographic area. You can put an area that you want to work in. Let's say I do the Sun City area. Let's say I want to do Sun City and Sun City West. You put that in there. Now they're only obligated in Sun City and Sun City West. Let's say you find something in Sun City Grand or somewhere else, right? Or you go out further to, there's some other stuff out there by Del Webb that's all the way further out to 303. And maybe you find something out there that's maybe a 55 and older community if that's what you're looking for. Go back again. First thing you got to do is the ready form. It's right here. You got to check that box. That's why we do that first. Again, it said bold. Broker compensation is not set by law. It's negotiated. And you have to put your initial right there that you know that. Now on this, because there could be a retainer fee. So if you have somebody that you like, they may request that you have a little non-refundable retainer fee, or it goes towards, its initial consultation, and it goes towards, and this fee will be credited, shall be credited towards your compensation below. So when you may fill it, you may give a little bit up front, but it'll be credited down here, which, it's something. It makes sense. And again, this wouldn't go to your, remember that? This is not going to go to the agent. This all goes into the brokerage. All compensation, everything that's out there always goes to the brokerage. And then the brokerage and the agent, the realtor, have a deal that they work on, and that's how that gets split. You put your compensation in here, whatever you negotiated. You go down now. You go down and look at compensation from seller and seller brokers. Now here, this is where it comes in. A seller or seller's broker may offer compensation to broker. Buyer authorizes broker to accept the compensation from the seller and seller's broker, which shall be credited against the broker compensation. So let's say you have a piece, and maybe you have to pay a little piece, or maybe the whole thing's going to be covered. But again, I'll show you how that's going to work. This is something you should look at also, the compensation expiration date. This is not on the test drive form. This is additional. Let's say you work with somebody for a month and you don't find anything and you want to go, you say, you know what, this is really not working out. I'm not going to extend this agreement. I'm going to go find another agent to work with a little bit. Maybe they'll find me something else. Or maybe they'll do something else that the other agent's not doing. Again, whatever the agent puts in here, if you see one of those houses, okay, so after the expiration date of this agreement, buyer agrees to pay buyer broker compensation within 45 days after the expiration date. Buyers enters to an agreement purchase, exchange, or option any property shown or negotiated by the broker. Okay, so it's not that when the agreement, from my understanding of it, and we'll get try to figure out if exactly, but I think I am right when I'm saying it because I've seen this before. Your compensation agreement ends. Your buyer broker exclusive agreement ends on that date. You're not doing anything that you see after that with a new broker. Has nothing to do with this. If for some reason you go back and there's a house that was on the market that you saw with the older agent, and it was in let's say this is 45 calendar days. So within the 45 calendar days, you would have to make sure that that's where the additional terms come in, that you could put in, that you have a responsibility to that other agent. If you see a house that you saw before that's coming in, and you try to negotiate on the broker terms and agreement, but didn't close, didn't go to escrow or anything like that, and never worked out, again, you would owe this broker compensation. So you'd have to put that in there for the new broker that you're dealing with, that if a house comes in again, let's say they lower the price, they did something else, whatever it is, and the terms have changed, but you start with the other broker, they're going to realize that, and they're going to have to work out, you're going to have to negotiate with them to understand that you have to pay this other fee to this other broker. That's one of the things that's going to come out, and now it comes out before the whole thing falls apart, before the whole thing ends, and then everybody starts yelling at each other. So now it's really good because it shows it's transparent. So those are the two forms. Now, I'm going to show you the other form I have, which is here somewhere. I'm going to get rid of this right now. I'm going to get rid of this. And so that's that's unrepresented and the buyer exclusive. Ooh, I don't want to close little tabs at all. Nope. I'm just going to cancel that. And I'll put that down there like that. And I'll bring this one up here like that. This is one of the forms that's the seller compensation form we're going to talk about. And then we're going to talk about, they call it CABB, another acronym for a compensation agreement between brokers. The broker-broker agreements are going to go bye-bye. I think they're going to go bye-bye because it's not as transparent as a seller to broker agreement. What's going on right now is there's additional terms. You put all this, you can look at this the same thing. You put in compensation, you put in all the stuff, you put in what you're doing, and then this form actually would go, and this is what happens. You have an agent broker that you're working with, and you want to see there's 10 homes in the area. And 5 of them, your agent, your buyer broker calls on all 10, and your buyer broker wants to know the commission that they're going to get paid if the seller is willing to pay them commission on the thing. So half of them come back and they give them the information through this form, and the other half come back and they say, fill out this form, fill out the seller compensation addendum, and we'll do it with the purchase contract. So the idea is there's 2 ways. Now there's 10 homes you want to see, but only 5 homes that are actually going to directly, you know in advance they're going to pay compensation to your buyer broker. The other one is not. It's going to work into the purchase contract. The thing is, I look at it, I want to see all of them. I don't care if this one's going to pay me and this one's not. I want to see all of them, because that's when you're going to make the best decision, is when you see all of them. And I'm going to explain why. Who cares what the compensation is at this point in time? Of course, the buyer broker cares what the compensation is, but from the buyer standpoint, all you care is that the compensation somehow gets paid for, so you don't have the extra money to pay it out of your pocket, and you want to make sure that it gets covered and gets paid. That's the end result. It might be a little bit more work for the buyer broker, but again, that's part of transparency. So, in the purchase contract, this is the purchase contract that you would fill out if you found a house that you like. Buyer's name, seller's name, the premises, the legal description, the full price you want to pay, earnest money you're putting down. And then you go through this escrow date and stuff. Now in here, all the addendums. Now again, here's an addendum. You would have may have a buyer contingency that you're selling something. You may have addendum for that. You may have a HOA. It's built before 1970. If it's built before 1978, lead paint disclosure. You might put that in here. Again, here it is, seller compensation. That's this form. Ooh, look at that. Fill this out. This gets filled out. What you negotiated on the compensation with your buyer broker in there. The percentage, everything gets in there. Any additional terms you want to put in there as well. This gets attached to your purchase contract, and then it goes to the listing agent, who sits down and talks to the seller, and they make a decision. If the price is fair and they figure out that the price is good, there's no issue. If there's an issue, you negotiate. That's all it is. You negotiate the numbers that it works out, that you don't have anything coming out of your pocket. That's it. If that's important to you and you don't want to have anything coming out of your pocket. That's the way it should go. It's transparent. It's straightforward. The seller is paying your broker's compensation. Easy peasy, no conditions, and you get to see all 10 homes instead of just seeing 5 and saying, oh, I want to see the other one. I mean, if you walked into an open house, you wouldn't know the compensation. So what's the difference? That's the way I look at it. Well, that's it for me for today. That's Arthur Hasher with Realty City. ArthurHasher@gmail.com. 623-986-0234. 623-986-0234 is my number. Text me. If you try to call me, you'll go. If I don't have your number in my phone, in my contacts, it'll go to my voicemail. You can leave me a voicemail, or you can text me, and then I'll put you into my contacts and we can talk. If you want any of these forms, I have sample forms that I can get you, and you can look at the sample forms and look at it. The other thing I want to tell you is, you can go down to the bottom here. You see this. It says all these forms are copywritten from Arizona Association of Realtors. Remember, all rights reserved. They're copywritten. They're used. These forms are all for realtors to use as part, because they put a lot of time and energy into working on these forms. So they do that for us. Again, Arthur Hasher. Have a great night. Enjoy.